With great pleasure. With great pleasure. It's our first technological interrupted repeat the day after. So we give high marks to the distinguished former Secretary of State and Fox News contributor, Mr. Mike Pompeo, my great friend. Mike, you are a prince to come back and do this. We were having such a good time, you and me, and then we got interrupted by the technology. So let me try to pick up where we, and you're a prince to do this today. Let me just play you a sound quickly where we kind of left off last night, what Joe Biden was saying about draining the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Please take a listen.
It's not politically motivated at all. It's motivated to make sure that I continue to push on what I've been pushing on.
All right, so no political motivation at all to draining Spro to get gasoline prices down by $1. You know, you're a guy who knows diplomacy. You're also a guy who knows the economy. What do you make of that statement?
Oh, my goodness, Larry. Thanks for having me back. I made a switch, too. I'm out in Iowa today, so it's wonderful to be with you from here.
Great.
Look, the worst kinds of political lies are the ones that everybody knows with their own eyes aren't true, right? Everybody can see that when you release 50 million barrels, it's a couple hours worth of global supply. There's going to be no change in price. So not only is it a lie where you lose credibility, but you don't actually achieve your outcome. And that's dangerous. It's dangerous because we now don't have that resource. He made it the political petroleum reserve instead of the strategic petroleum reserve. That's dangerous for America. It's not going to impact price. And I hope the American people can see that they need leaders that are credible and actually going to solve this problem of the fact that it's going to be really expensive to heat your home and to drive your car come this winter.
I mean, part of this story is the economics, which are terrible, as you've just suggested. But part of this, Mike, is the diplomatic side, the foreign policy side, the national security side. As we were talking before we were interrupted yesterday, here he is playing footsie with Iran, which is the death enemy to Saudi Arabia and Israel and the Gulf states that you helped negotiate the Abraham Accords with. And he seems to have no awareness of the stupidity and damage that he's doing to American national security.
Larry, you were there right alongside of us as we were working on the Abraham Accords. It was really fundamental, right? We knew this. We needed to make sure that we denied the Iranians the capacity to inflict terror on us. We needed to make sure Maduro wasn't doing bad things to people in our own hemisphere. And we didn't want anybody to rely on Russia for their energy. And sadly, this fantasy of the Green New Deal took hold over decades. And now the Europeans are going to have a really tough winter, and the world is less safe. The Gulf Arab states aren't happy because this president called the Crown Prince in Saudi Arabia a pariah. They're not happy because we're playing footsie with the Iranians. These are all bad for Americans right here in Iowa, all across the country. It's not good for us. We are less safe as a result of it, and we're a lot less prosperous as a result of the fact that now energy prices are going to be really, really high because our friends around the world and the folks who could produce that energy right here at home aren't able to do so.
You know, just on that point, I know you're traveling throughout the country. What do people see it with the kind of clarity that you might see it or I might see it? Do they understand that our economic security is getting killed at home, family budgets are getting killed, the economy is into recession with high inflation? But do they see the challenge we have, the weakness we have overseas? You know, Reagan used to always say, if you're strong at home, you're strong abroad, but if you're weak at home, you're weak abroad. Do folks see that? Do they talk about that?
They do. I hear it every place I go. It's pretty common sense stuff. It's been wonderful to be back here in the Midwest where people actually speak about that in pretty plain language, Larry. Just the language you heard Ron Reagan use. And you and I saw this. We talked about this a lot when you were at the NEC and I was trying to do good work around the world. If we had a growing American economy, if we had LNG that was flowing from America, my job as the Secretary of State was so much easier because the power, the greatness of our country was manifold to everybody around the world. They wanted to be our friends. And when it's not, we're more at risk. And when you tell soldiers that you're going to have the military be carbon neutral in 20 years, I got to tell you, that reduces American security an awful lot, too. I'm happy to have clean air and safe drinking water, but I want our military to be focused on its mission, not on some idea that you're going to power it with windmill and sunshine. That's dangerous, Larry.
Yes, sir. Secretary, let me ask you this. Look, I have not yet read the book. As an impoverished broadcast anchor, I have to go out and raise the money to get the book. But I do intend to read it, mostly because you wrote it. But the book is Never Give an Inch. which is kind of a cool title. Let me just play a very quick Reagan sound on that and see if there's a connection.
If not us, who? And if not now, when?
If not us, who, and if not now, when? Those are words, you know, every time I hear those words, I get a little chill. I worked for them when I was a young kid, as you know. But was that kind of one of the things, when you say never give an inch, is that kind of one of the things you were thinking about, Mike Pompeo?
Yeah, absolutely, Larry. I get a chill when I hear that, too. You worked for him as a young kid. He was my commander-in-chief when I was a young soldier.
Right.
Goodness, too long ago.
Right.
Too long ago now. But in any event, yeah, when you hear that, right, the things that are worth fighting for, the America that's worth fighting for, are things that matter an awful lot. And there's no reason for us to apologize. We never did in the Trump administration. On the things that we value, we should never give an inch. We should keep at it. It's an important mission, and President Reagan had it right. If not us, who? The world is counting on us, and most importantly, we always put America first. The American people are counting on us to get it right. And when you're weak, when you don't have respect around the world, Larry, it's a lot more dangerous place for folks all across the United States.
Mike, I don't think Joe Biden has ever in the past, nor today, understand remotely what you're talking about and what the Gipper said many years ago. I just have no confidence in he has any understanding of first principles and so forth.
Yeah, there's certainly no evidence of that. His behavior would suggest he doesn't get it. He has put the American people at risk. He allowed Vladimir Putin off the leash, Xi Jinping now threatening, and high prices here at home. All of this creates risk. They're connected, Larry. What happens in Beijing or Kyiv matters to people in Kansas, my home state, or here in Iowa. We've got to get it right. We've got to get American leadership back on the world stage and get respect back for our country. We'll do it. I'm confident of that. It's time.
Let me just conclude, and you've been terrific, by the way. You really are our first technological repeater. It's a fantastic story, and I love you in Iowa. Let me...
well, bless you.
I want to... former President Trump was on the radio show, my pal Brian Kilmeade here at Fox today. I just want to let you hear a sound that he said and get you to react to it. A little bit of domestic politics. Here comes the sound.
Many of them have said they would never run if I run, so we'll see whether or not that turns out to be true. I think it would be very disloyal if they did, but that's okay, too.
You know, I was quite surprised. I mean, look, I love the guy. My guess is you do, too. But I was quite surprised that he would say that it would be disloyal for former cabinet people. Look, I've taken my hat out of the race, but I know you're exploring. You have every right to explore. You did a great job at CIA and state. What do you think he's saying? What's he trying to tell us here, Mike Pompeo?
Oh, goodness, Larry. I think everybody who puts their hat in the ring does it because they believe they're the right person to lead America forward. I'm sure there'll be a whole handful of folks choose to do that. And then one of the great things about our country is the American people will get to sort it all out. I look forward to seeing how that plays out. I am confident that our party will put forward someone who, in the Reagan tradition, understands American strength, American power, and is prepared to deliver on behalf of the American people. There's time for that. We just got a couple weeks left before this big election. Let's stay focused.
Yeah, you know what? You're dead right. Absolutely. The election is everything. That's the first step towards everything to try to straighten this sinking ship out. Mike Pompeo, Secretary Pompeo, thank you. You're a prince for coming back on the show.
Bless you, Larry.
Most grateful.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
You too.